Goldberg versus DDP for the WCW title. Halloween Havoc 1998. Now, you got to realize this was at a time when WCW was very entertaining. This was not when they were doing terribly in like the year 2000 or anything. No, WCW was cool at this time, okay? I mean, I'll just give you an example. Chris Jericho was in WCW at this time, and he was one of the most entertaining wrestlers on the planet. But they had a whole cast of characters, and these guys were two of them, DDP and Goldberg. This is a babyface versus babyface match, and I just want to talk about the entrances for a second. DDP had a very quick entrance. He comes through the crowd. He's the people's champion, gets right in the ring, and he just waits in the corner, right? Now, at this time, Goldberg was the world champion, still undefeated. You know, this was before the Kevin Nash foolishness that happened at Starrcade 1998. But Goldberg was on fire. I mean, this guy came out of nowhere in 1997. He started this undefeated streak. He beat Raven for the United States title in one of my favorite matches, which is only like 5 minutes long, but it was great. It was so entertaining. It was perfect for Goldberg. Then he beats Hollywood Hogan for the world title, holds on to the world title for months, and now he's going to face another babyface in DDP. And it's just so interesting to see the entrances, because when Goldberg comes out, obviously, if you don't know about Goldberg's entrance, go watch the Halloween Havoc 1998 entrance for Goldberg. Some people say it's the best Goldberg entrance ever, just because it has this like big pumpkin at the entrance where the ramp is. And obviously he comes to the ring with the police officers, and then there's this period of time like right behind the curtain where he kind of disappears into the darkness. Then he comes out in front of the pumpkin, and then he's got all the pyro and he's breathing smoke like he's a monster. And these guys are so different, and their careers were so different, but boy, I mean, it just makes for such an interesting contrast between two wrestlers that the fans love. And everyone was expecting a very entertaining match. The beginning of this match showcases the difference in the characters of DDP and Goldberg. You see, Goldberg is like a machine, and he's got so much power. Even though DDP is a big guy, and he's really tall, and he's pretty much almost the same size as Goldberg, the story is that Goldberg can just muscle his way through anything. And DDP deserves a lot of credit, because the first thing I notice in this match is that DDP's selling Goldberg's offense in a way that makes it look like Goldberg has power from a different planet, like otherworldly type of strength. Like, there's a moment near the beginning of the match where Goldberg basically nudges him, and DDP just flies through the ropes to the outside. And there's another point where Goldberg does this like kick right to DDP's chin, and DDP goes flying into the turnbuckle. And it's not until Goldberg makes a mistake when he goes to, like, I guess, spear DDP in the corner, or do like a shoulder block or a shoulder tackle, and DDP gets out of the way just in time, and Goldberg goes right through the ropes, hits the turnbuckle to the floor. And that's the moment where they're like, oh, maybe this is the mistake that DDP needs to win this match. And so that's a good way to tell the story. It's like Goldberg is such a dominant guy that you're gonna kind of need him to beat himself, even if you are as good as DDP. And that, I think, is perfect storytelling for these two characters. Now, the second half of this match has perfect storytelling. And the way they build to the finish is that after Goldberg spears, or tried to spear, DDP, and he flew into the ring post and hurt his shoulder, now DDP's in control of the match. He hits a clothesline up the top turnbuckle, knocks down Goldberg, but then Goldberg, as DDP is motioning for the diamond cutter, hits a thunderous spear on DDP, and you see the crowd go nuts. Like the arena shakes when Goldberg hits the spear. However, when he hit the spear, he hurt his shoulder because he had just hit the ring post with the same shoulder. So now Goldberg is down. He can't go for a cover. So he didn't have enough time to get to DDP and win the match. So now he's got to go for the jackhammer. And Goldberg tries for the jackhammer, can't get DDP up because he hit that ring post, right? That one mistake that hurt the monster. And then DDP reverses and hits a diamond cutter. Crowd goes crazy. DDP goes for the cover, 2 count, and then Goldberg kicks out. Then DDP went for a suplex or something. Goldberg reverses it, goes for the jackhammer, hits the jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. So there was really no wasted motion in this match, and that's always the best type of Goldberg match. You know, you don't want to really waste too much time. Like in the beginning of the match, they were doing some chain wrestling. It was kind of interesting to warm up, I guess, for what was going to happen later in the match. And then it just peaked, and they really hit all the big stuff at the end. I mean, it's like basic storytelling, but still they did it very well. And it wasn't like, let's say, the Kevin Nash versus Goldberg match at Starrcade. It was nothing like that. This was good stuff for, you got to remember, Goldberg was still very limited at this time. Even though he had some very entertaining matches, they were still pretty short or pretty simple because, again, he can only do so many things at this time, even though he's like the biggest star or one of the biggest stars in the industry, the biggest star in WCW. I mean, I guess that's subjective because, you know, they still had all the big names there. But still, it was very entertaining stuff in the second half of the match because for a second there, you might have thought that DDP had a chance, but that all came crashing down when the jackhammer hit. But still, you know, DDP, Goldberg, huge stars at this time. WCW was huge at this time. And if you want to get a taste of what it was like during that era of pro wrestling, my favorite era of pro wrestling was the Monday Night Wars, Attitude Era in the WWE, and then this type of stuff in WCW. I mean, you can't go wrong. You had all the biggest names you could think of, and it was just such a great time for wrestling, and I miss it. I'll always miss that era. Nothing could ever compare to it. And I know people like to say, oh, but WWE is doing such big business these days. Yeah, that's not really the point. I'm talking about the quality of the programming. And yes, once in a while, WWE does do something special, but it's pretty rare. It's not often. And even having great matches, it doesn't happen all the time, regardless of what people think. I mean, you go back to this time. I mean, matches were built up correctly. You had a lot of anticipation heading into pay-per-views and pay-per-view main events. They did everything right. And even if, I guess you could say, like, the athleticism maybe wasn't as good as it is today, you know, like, because people can do all the crazy moves today. You didn't need that. You didn't need that to tell a story, and these guys proved it. Very simple story. Very simple story. Very simple wrestling. Nothing super dangerous, and they managed to entertain the crowd, which ultimately is what you want to do. You want to keep the fans happy. You don't want to make them regret coming to the show, or you don't want to make them regret buying the pay-per-view. Do you know how many recent WWE shows, I mean, within the past couple of years, I just regretted wasting my time watching it, even though I didn't have to pay for it in terms of a pay-per-view. It was on a streaming service for a low cost. Still, I felt like I wasted my time. That never happens when I watch shows from this era. But yeah, as far as my rating for this match, I would give it a 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. It was good. It was shorter than you would expect for a world title match. But again, it's a Goldberg match. So you can't do too many crazy things. And because otherwise people will get bored because Goldberg can only do so many things in a match. He has a limited moveset. So for a Goldberg match, I mean, this is good stuff. I mean, it's right near where that Goldberg versus Raven match was. I mean, that might be my favorite Goldberg match of all time, just because there was no wasted motion in that match at all, and it was perfect for what it was. That was only like 5 minutes long. But this one was another one where there wasn't really much wasted motion. Maybe the chain wrestling in the beginning went on a little bit too long, but still, it was good stuff. I would recommend watching it if you haven't seen it, just to get an idea of what Goldberg was like back then, now that he's retired.